with another video, man. But today, tonight, wherever you are, we checking out the biggest non-nuclear explosions in history from the Underworld channel. Link will be in the description if you want to go check out the original video. Go ahead and leave a like on their video before, you know, we go ahead and get into it. And then leave a like on this video if you fucking with it, you know what I'm saying? And subscribe if you fuck with the vibe. I will have earned your like by the end of this, hopefully. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. Let's do it. Screw it. Let's get through it. Explosions.
From an exploding rocket fuel depot in Nevada that left a crater outside of Las Vegas, and a port blast in Beirut that nearly destroyed the entire city, to an underwater mountain in Vancouver that was blown sky high, and a 7,000-ton surplus of World War II munitions that almost sank a tiny island.
Damn.
Here are the largest non-nuclear explosions caught on camera.
Why couldn't it have been the other island? You know what I'm saying? Sink that one. That's all I'm saying.
We love watching things go boom.
We do. God, dog. Let me move my... Nah, we good. Why were you that close?
Unfortunately, some of the largest non-nuclear blasts were too big or too spontaneous for anyone to film. For the sake of this video, we're focusing only on those with available footage. First up is a rocket fuel plant outside of Las Vegas that gambled on the future of space travel and lost. The Pacific Engineering and Production Company of Nevada, or PEPCON, began operations in 1958, roughly 16 miles southeast of Las Vegas in the city of Henderson. They specialized in ammonium perchlorate, a highly reactive oxidizer used in NASA's space shuttle program. In other words, they were making rocket fuel. After the Challenger disaster in 1986, the U.S. government grounded the space program, forcing PEPCON to stockpile about 4,500 metric tons of extra fuel. They were basically sitting on a small nuclear bomb that was waiting to blow in the hot Nevada desert.
There's a bunch of gas.
1988 began as a normal day at the PEPCON plant. According to the Clark County Fire Department, sparks from a welder's torch ignited a nearby barrel of ammonium perchlorate around 11:30 that morning.
Wasn't paying attention.
Unfortunately, there were no fire suppression systems in place where these extra barrels were being stored, as the PEPCON facility wasn't large enough to safely house over 6 million pounds of rocket fuel. Workers battled the blaze with hoses, but that was like fighting a volcano with a squirt gun. Everyone evacuated except Roy Westerfield, the PEPCON plant controller who stayed behind to call 911. Sadly, that decision meant that he'd likely go down with the ship. Meanwhile, a cameraman perched atop the nearby Black Mountain saw the fire and began recording. This is what happens when 1,000 barrels of rocket fuel detonate at once.
That whole... Oh! Ooh, that's gonna be loud.
Damn.
Boy, that destroyed everything. That'll get... That did the marshmallow effect back there.
Yeah. Ooh! Shit. That nigga was right. That's gonna be loud. Damn.
You thought that was big. Wait until you see the main blast.
The main blast? What you mean the main blast? That wasn't the main blast? This is crazy, bruh. And as officials, they just say, yeah, let's just put it all in one place. We ain't gonna disperse it and put it in different areas. And that way we can have different facilities working on different things. No, we just gonna put it in one place and just hope that nobody sparks shit.
You might have thought a nuke had gone off outside of Las Vegas. There were 7 blasts altogether, with the largest having a yield of 0.25 kilotons of TNT. According to local historian Mark Patton, you likely know him as the guy from Pawn Stars, the PEPCON disaster was the largest civilian explosion in U.S. history. The blast injured over 400 people.
Why is that? Why is he the source? Why is the nigga from Pawn Stars the source?
And claimed 2 lives, that of controller Roy Westerfield and plant manager Bruce Halker, who had just gotten to his car when the first blast occurred.
Damn. R.I.P. He was about to
August
go home,
12th
man.
of 2015, Tianjin, China. Nobody knows it, but the Ruihai International Logistics Company is sitting on over 1,000 tons of illegally stored chemicals. Their warehouses are situated near the port of Tianjin, one of the world's busiest trade hubs, with an annual throughput of 480 million tons.
Damn.
In 2011, Ruihai was established to ship hazardous chemicals more quickly and efficiently than its state-run rivals. But money got in the way of safety when upper management began bribing officials to allow the company to sidestep regulations.
Why? Why? For what? Like, why? Hey, we're spending too much money to keep this shit safe. Even though every time we get a new worker, we show them safety videos and all type of shit for like a week, and then we let them loose. Like, why we cutting corners? As CEOs, why do y'all do that? That shit is so stupid, and it's ass backwards. Like,
what could possibly go wrong? On the night of the 12th, firefighters responded to a fire in the Ruihai warehouse yard, unaware of the deadly chemicals being stored on site. And since most corrupt business owners don't keep detailed records of their illegal dealings, the firefighters didn't know what they were fighting until it was too late.
No way. They all were in the... Wow. Wow. Oh, shit. Fuck. I shouldn't be laughing, but I'm just saying, like, dog.
That blast was followed by another about 33 seconds later.
Bitch, that's a fire. Bitch, that's a portal to hell. What? Wow.
The blasts combined to blow the doors and windows off of 17,000 homes and buildings in the area.
Y'all gonna
They
fix
claimed
my
the
shit too.
lives of over 100 firefighters and 70 civilians.
Y'all gonna fix my shit. I got all types of Asian bugs in my house now. Y'all gonna fix my shit. I don't know if raccoons out there, but y'all got a raccoon in my house and shit. Y'all gonna fix my shit. Yeah. You fix my door, fix my window, all that shit, bro.
Was the largest
for free.
to occur that night. It registered as a 2.9 magnitude earthquake,
Nigga,
with a
what?
blast yield equivalent to nearly 22 tons of TNT. In the aftermath, Ruihai Logistics chairman Yu Shuiwei was fined over $100,000 and jailed alongside 48 other staff members and government officials. The Tianjin explosion caused roughly $1 billion in economic losses.
Damn.
And ranks among the deadliest industrial disasters in Chinese history.
Cut off all them niggas' toes, everybody involved.
On August 4th of 2020, a fire at the port of Beirut triggered one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in human history.
Damn,
Nearly
look at that.
3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate detonated in Warehouse 12, creating a shockwave so powerful that it registered as a 3.3 magnitude earthquake. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody was prepared, and nobody knew the disaster that had been
people are housing things that if they are sparked, create a fucking earthquake, my nigga. What are we talking about? Why are we making shit like that in the first place? Like, we can't figure out another way to do whatever we doing with that and do it like a better. I'm just saying, bro.
Even years in the making. Let's rewind to September 27th of 2013, when a Moldovan-flagged cargo ship, the MV Rosas, set sail from Batumi, Georgia, en route to Mozambique.
Okay.
The Rosas was carrying 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate, a key ingredient in explosive mixtures used in mining, quarrying, and construction.
Okay. Now, how did this go wrong? It all looks secured, you know what I mean? How did this go wrong?
After spending 4 weeks in Athens, the Rosas continued its journey through the Mediterranean until a technical issue forced it to dock in Beirut, Lebanon.
Okay.
Port officials inspected the ship and deemed it forbidden from sailing.
Okay.
The ship's Russian owner,
Forbidden from sailing. Remember that. We're forbidden.
Igor Grachushkin, couldn't afford the port fees and simply stopped paying. Beirut impounded the Rosas and unloaded the explosive cargo.
Okay,
the
unloaded
ammonium
it.
nitrate was stored in warehouse 12, where it would
Okay.
await auction or proper
Did they know
disposal.
what they were?
Now, over
Did
the
they know
next
what they had in their
6
hands?
years,
6.
several letters from Lebanese customs officials regarding the dangers of storing explosive chemicals
Spectrum
were
Wireless?
largely ignored. At one point, someone had the bright idea to store fireworks in the same warehouse as the ammonium nitrate.
Cut his toes off. Cut his toes off. Not matter of fact, put that nigga in the psych ward. Something wrong with him mentally. I'm just saying. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I'm just saying,
Around
bro.
5:55 p.m., a fire broke out in Warehouse 12. 9 firefighters and a paramedic were deployed, but failed to control the blaze. An initial explosion of fireworks at 6:07 sent a plume of smoke into the sky above Beirut. Then, 30 seconds later, nearly 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate detonated, blowing the port of Beirut to smithereens.
Do I want to
The blast
cuss?
wave
Damn.
collapsed several buildings in the Lebanese capital. It wounded over 6,000 people and claimed the lives of 218.
Bro, is that all the damage?
Ammonium
God.
nitrate isn't as powerful as TNT on a per-mass basis. In fact, it's about 50% weaker. That's why several studies have estimated the Beirut blast yield to be between 0.5 and 1.1 kilotons of TNT, which was big enough to leave behind a 140-meter-wide crater. As of 2025, the Beirut blast leaves us with more questions than answers. Nobody has ever been arrested or held accountable. A judge is expected
Shoulda
to
had
hand
some
down
cameras on that
indictments on
fucking
the 5th
warehouse.
anniversary of the disaster, but few people have any faith that justice will ever
We
be
got to
served.
figure out the dumbass that put fireworks in there with all them
The
chemicals.
Seymour Narrows is a 3-mile waterway between Vancouver and the Discovery Islands of British Columbia. Few people know it, but this short stretch of water used to keep Canadian sailors up at night.
Oh,
Think of
really?
it like the Canadian version of Davy Jones's Locker. This was thanks to Ripple Rock, a massive underwater mountain with 2 prominent peaks that sat only feet below the surface during low tide. The peaks sank or damaged 20 large vessels and at least 100 smaller ships over the years. They stood like 2 massive canine teeth that tore apart the hulls of passing boats without discretion. And if the peaks didn't get you, the whirlpools and massive waves did. Legend has it that 114 sailors fell victim to Ripple Rock over the years. In 1955, work began on a radical project to end Ripple Rock's reign of terror. Over the next 3 years, workers dug a 570-foot vertical shaft into Maud Island. From there, they burrowed about 2,500 feet under the Seymour Narrows to the base of Ripple Rock. They dug 2 branching tunnels that extended about 300 feet vertically into the mountain. Finally, a series of coyote tunnels were dug, in which 1,400 tons of high explosives were packed.
All this 'cause
Everything
niggas
was
kept getting their
primed and
ships
ready
fucked up
on
by
April
rocks.
5th of 1958. The menace of Seymour Narrows was about to meet its maker. The detonation of Ripple Rock was the world's largest non-nuclear blast at the time. It displaced approximately 635,000 metric tons of rock and water, sending debris flying over 300 meters in every direction. The blast increased the low-tide clearing over Ripple Rock to about 14 meters, or roughly 45 feet at its shallowest point. Since the blast, there has never been another accident in the Seymour Narrows attributed to the peaks of Ripple Rock. While navigation is still tricky at times, boat captains can sleep easy knowing those legendary teeth won't be biting into their hulls.
Humans.
July 17th of 1944. The United States is deep in the throes of World War II.
We're gonna make some shit work for us.
At the Port Chicago Naval Magazine in Contra Costa, California, segregated groups of African-American men worked around the clock loading munitions onto ships for transport across the Pacific Ocean. They were told the weapons were not active and would only be armed upon their arrival in the Pacific Theater. That was a lie. According to the National Park Service, the white officers in charge would place bets on which black crews could load munitions the fastest. Safety regulations were largely ignored, and arduous hours left the men tired and weak. On the evening of July 17th of 1944, two cargo ships, the SS Quinault Victory and SS E.A. Bryan, docked at the loading pier. The latter was packed to the brim with over 4,600 tons of anti-aircraft munitions, aerial bombs, and other high explosives. Meanwhile, over 400 tons of munitions were sitting in nearby rail cars waiting to be loaded. At 10:18 p.m., a dull clang was followed by the sound of splintering wood. It's believed that a cargo boom had fallen, dropping one of the live munitions. A bright flash lit up the night sky, followed by an ear-splitting sonic boom. Then, seconds later, over 5,000 tons of munitions exploded at once. Anything within a 1,000-foot radius was obliterated. Roughly 320 people, including 202 black dock workers, died instantly. The blast itself was equal to 5,000 tons of TNT and registered as a 3.4 magnitude earthquake on the Richter scale. All told, it was the worst accidental disaster on the American home front during World War II. A month after the blast, surviving African-American workers refused to keep loading the deadly munitions. Of them, 50 were accused and convicted of mutiny, and each received a 15-year jail sentence. They were granted clemency after the war ended in 1946, but only one man was ever pardoned for his crimes by President Clinton in 1999. The Port Chicago disaster and trial were crucial turning points for civil rights in the U.S. military. In June of 1945, the Navy began desegregating its units, and on July 26th of 1948, President Truman signed Executive Order 9981, which officially desegregated the U.S. Armed Forces. Located 30 miles off the northwestern coast of Germany, Heligoland Island has been a highly contested area since medieval times. Danish kings and German dukes fought to control the island, despite it being smaller than New York's Central Park. However, it was the English who occupied the island until 1890, when they traded it to Germany in exchange for Zanzibar, an island located in the Indian Ocean. During World War II, Heligoland posed a significant threat to the Allied forces after Germany fortified the island to support its naval fleet. These included underground tunnels, a military airfield, coastal artillery, and heavily fortified storage facilities for Nazi submarines. In 1945, the Allies gained control of Heligoland after several relentless bombing runs by the RAF. Britain occupied the deserted rock and used the underground tunnels to store dangerous amounts of leftover munitions. In 1947, the English decided that they were tired of looking at the old Nazi naval base. They launched Operation Big Bang, which saw roughly 7,000 tons of surplus munitions loaded into the buildings and tunnels of Heligoland. While stationed on a ship about 9 miles away, English officers wondered if the blast would be powerful enough to sink the entire island. There, of course, was only one way to find out.
At the fourth pip of the BBC time signal, Lieutenant Commander Frank Graves
of London pushes the button. I ain't mad at it as long as nobody got hurt. Fuck that Nazi shit, you know what I'm saying?
According to National Geographic, the blast was equivalent to 3.2 kilotons of TNT. When the smoke cleared, the only building left standing was a German anti-aircraft tower. All of the underground tunnels and other military buildings were reduced to rubble and dust.
Blow that bitch up too, bro.
In 1952, the British returned control.
That looks so nice. That looks nice, bro. That looks really nice, really like peaceful, you know what I'm saying? You might wake up in the morning to like a little bell, ding, ding, ding. You know what I'm saying, for the boats or whatever. Yeah, bro, this shit look nice.
To Germany. People were allowed to repopulate and rebuild, and as of 2025, the island has become a popular vacation spot, enjoying tax-exempt status as part of Germany and the EU. Between 1945 and the Test Ban Treaty of 1996, over
But that looked like something about to come up out the water, bro. Shout out Duke the Killer, bro. Look like something about to come up out the water. That shit crazy,
nuclear
bro.
bomb tests were carried out around the world. Most of them came between the 1950s and early 1960s. Then, in 1963, a partial test
Why we feel the need to blow shit up,
nuclear
though?
testing in the atmosphere, underwater, or in space.
That shit crazy.
As a workaround, the U.S. Department of Defense
like
began
orange
running
cauliflower, orange
high-explosive
broccoli.
tests with TNT meant to simulate the effects of a small nuclear weapon.
Nigga, that looked like two cells. That looked like two cells. I mean, one cell becoming two.
TNT.
Oh, what's that shit called? I forgot what it's called, bro. I forgot what it's called. Fuck. Leave that in the comment section, bro.
Meant to simulate the effects of a small nuclear weapon. In 1981, the U.S. launched Operation Misty Castle, a series of large-scale, high-explosive tests scheduled to take place over the next decade. The third event in the series, Operation Minor Scale, was the largest nuclear simulation test ever conducted. The plan was simple. Rig about 4,800 tons of high explosives and see how big a boom it makes. Construction crews worked tirelessly building a dome-shaped structure to house the explosive stockpile, along with dummy buildings to test the damage. The explosive compound in question...
Nigga, you gonna blow it up inside or something? Something that could just go, just gonna go flying wherever the fuck it goes.
...was ANFO, or ammonium nitrate fuel oil. Back then, 500 tons of pure TNT cost about $1 million. ANFO was significantly cheaper and thus more reasonable to use during experiments. All that ANFO was loaded into the dome and rigged to blow on June 27th of 1985. Let's just say they were pleased with the results.
2, 1.
God damn. But it's like, bro, what? Okay, so what you gonna do with that? Like, what do we do with this information? Like, with all this testing and shit, what the fuck do we do with it? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? We ain't about to bomb nobody unless this dumbass nigga keep wanting to bomb people. Then we gonna have to bomb ourselves, shit. Cause somebody gonna do something, goddammit. But it might be one of us, it might be one of them. Shit, who's them? The world. Goddamn, the world. But like, where do we go with this testing?
The minor scale blast produced an explosive yield of 4.2 kilotons of TNT.
Where are you gonna be able to have all this ammonia, whatever the fuck, in one place to do something with it? And then like, why? Like, what would be the plan? What? I don't know. Like, are we gonna use this to destroy asteroids in case the world is finna end? Cause one of them bitches finna come at us like when the dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying?
Making it the largest planned conventional explosion since Operation Big Bang on Heligoland Island. A few years later, Operation Misty Picture produced a similar but smaller result when close to 4,700 tons of ANFO
just in the middle of nowhere.
In the same area. The Misty Castle program lasted until 1993, having detonated about 17,500 tons of high explosives.
And fuck all the animals too, by the way.
In New Mexico.
It's just fuck all the animals, fuck the ecosystem.
It was early 1969. The space race between the United States and the Soviet Union was entering its final lap.
What's up with
American
this pride
astronauts
shit? I hate
had
pride
just returned from a groundbreaking flight around the moon.
It's so stupid.
We're preparing for 2 more practice missions before the final lunar landing. Meanwhile, the Soviets were making a desperate effort to catch up. They'd been developing the N-1 rocket in secret as a counterpunch to the American Saturn V. It was so large that it required 165 railway cars just to deliver the parts to the launch site in 1967.
Damn.
Just as they were getting ready to blast off, engineers found several cracks in the load-bearing ring of the first stage.
And they said, go ahead
Repairs
with it.
would delay the test voyage for another year. It wasn't until February 21st of
they actually fixed it.
1969 that the Soviet N-1 rocket finally got off the ground. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. The engines began malfunctioning shortly after liftoff. Several fires quickly spread, and within 60 seconds, the rocket crashed to the ground. It landed about 32 miles from the launch pad and allegedly claimed the lives of 91 people.
I was about to say, that's
still
still
According to
too
CNN,
close.
the accident wasn't made public until 1995.
Excuse me? That's insane. That's insane. So, some people, are you telling me some people didn't even know that their relatives were dead until 1995, or at least knew the reason behind their death or something of that nature? What happened to the bodies? Were the bodies just eviscerated? Like, what happened, bro? Were they erased from this plane of existence? Like, nah, y'all niggas got some explaining to do, bro. What do you mean 91 people died and the accident wasn't made public till 95? 95?
The second failed attempt on July 3rd of the same year came to define the N-1 rocket's legacy. Several of the thrusters shut down only a few
y'all
seconds
had some shit
into
blow
the
up
flight.
again,
The
nigga.
N-1 made it just
give
over
up.
300 feet into the air before it began breaking apart. It crashed back down to Earth with about 2,300 tons of propellant on board.
Hell
The
nah.
explosion triggered a massive shockwave
fucking
that
goodness.
shattered windows near the launch complex.
Nigga, that looked like a
and sent debris flying as far as 6 miles
hell.
from the epicenter.
That's what everybody says hell looks like, bro. On God. That's what everybody says hell look like, bro. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. That looks like, bro. Nah,
a
bro.
massive
That's
shockwave that shattered windows near the launch complex and sent debris flying as far as 6 miles from the epicenter.
That's
What's
insane.
even crazier is that the blast could have been exponentially worse. A follow-up investigation found that 85% of the N-1's onboard propellant had not detonated during the accident. The resulting blast yield is highly debated. Some believe it was only 1 kiloton of TNT, while others claim it was as high as 7, making it about half as strong as the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima, Japan during World War II.
Wow.
Imagine how big it would have been if even 50% of the fuel had exploded. A full-scale failure would have likely wiped the launch area off the face of the Earth. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more just like it, be sure to...
That's insane, bro. Again, why do we have these things? I don't, like, they rushing... It's funny because it's Soviet Union. They over here rushing to do shit. They need to take their fucking time and just get their shit together. Both of their shits exploded, bro. Just either take your time or give it up, bro. It's not for you. You're not meant to be up there with us, okay? We're gonna go explore. We'll come back down and give you the footnotes, okay? We'll just let you know everything that happened, let you know if we see any aliens or something like that, but as far as everything else, bro, just give it up, okay? But if y'all enjoyed the video, man, go ahead and leave a like on the video. Again, original video is in the description below. Subscribe if you fucking with the vibe. Let me catch y'all in the next one, bro. Peace.